akatuacha. Makamu wa rais akasimama na sisi. Mimi Moses Kuria, mtoto wa maskini. Hata nikibaki peke yangu, nitakuwa nyuma ya makamu wa rais mpaka aingie.
Good evening. You are watching Checkpoint. My name is Sophia Wanuna. With me tonight for a conversation where we're focusing on the tension in the presidency, the relationship between the president and his deputy that has been playing out in public, with various quarters sharing and thinking differently about what could be causing this and its import. With me in studio tonight for that conversation is former Kiambu Governor William Kabogo on my far right. Also with us is the Secretary General of the Orange Democratic Movement, that is Edwin Sifuna. Now, as we saw earlier, Moses Kuria was here and has stepped out on a phone call, and we're hoping he will be able to join us, as he has been gone for quite some time. So we're hoping he will be able to join this conversation and participate. But we've heard that bite from him. Sifuna, I'll begin with you, talking about his support for the deputy president through and through. At a time, the president is saying, let's focus on delivering for Kenya, the Big Four agenda, not the campaigns. What do you read into this tension in the Jubilee presidency?
First of all, we have echoed what the president has said repeatedly, that really we have come out of a very rigorous campaign period. Kenyans have gone through some very tough times in the past 12 months or so, and that really, after the handshake happened, that it is time for us to focus on sorting out the matters that always put us back into the problems that we see every time we go into an election. So I am sure that all those people making noise about 2022, they are aware that their chances continue to diminish every day, because at the end of the day, when it comes to the discussion about who's going to be president in 2022, there are very difficult questions that we as Kenyans are going to ask about the candidates, and people must present the credentials that they have. I don't think that it is my turn is an argument for president, or that you owe me a debt is an argument for president. So I'm sure that those proponents of these early campaigns in 2022 are aware that the chances of DP becoming president in future continue to diminish by the day. Yeah.
Kabogo, you have seen this play out, and in the past have castigated and even talked about no promise for the DP. But what do you read into this current tension?
I'm seeing a situation where the president is very serious about his legacy and about making sure that Kenya moves to the next level. But it seems like he's held back by politics, because he has continuously said, even to these MPs that come from his own county, let's not talk politics now. Let us build Kenya. And it seems like as they do whatever it is they want to do, they still come back to the same thing. So really, it's like we did elections to discuss 22. So why didn't we just forgo the 17 elections and do 22 once and for all? Because it seems like the country is held hostage. Nothing is going on, nothing is going to happen until the mess of 22 is cleared. And anyway, who knows where we will be then? You see, the president says we have a problem with corruption. And he admits, and he says, what else haven't I done? Then he comes out and says, we will do, you know, declare our wealth. I mean, we shall be subjected to lifestyle audit. And you see people jumping. No, there's not going to be any lifestyle audit. It is not anchored anywhere in law. Really? Do they understand that we have declarations that we do every 2 years and they are part of a statute? Why do we declare our wealth every 2 years? It is so that after every 2 years, you need to be audited. You need to be checked. What you declared and what you have now, are they the same?
So what is causing the tension? We know the deputy president wants to succeed his boss. The boss wants focus on his agenda. So is it that the deputy president is not listening to his boss?
What I would be saying myself now is that let's stop listening to these generals. Why don't they speak themselves? If the deputy president has an issue, let him speak. If the president has an issue, I hear they have a meeting on Tuesday. Bring it out in the open. Let Kenyans deal with it.
Okay.
Because elections will come every 5 years. We just did an election like a few months ago. Really? Should we be talking about elections?
Moses Kuria is back with us, Gatundu South Member of Parliament. Thank you so much for being here. We played a clip of you saying you're behind the DP through and through and have been accompanying him in various parts of the country. And a lot of this 2022 keeps coming up and clearly causing tension because the president wants to focus on his legacy. So why are you adamant on these campaigns so early on? Because that is what they are.
I don't think they're campaigns, Sophie. I don't think that anyone sensible would talk about campaigning now with 4.5 years, to go. But I think you have to start looking at the journey you've taken as a party, as Jubilee, for the last several years. And you've achieved several things. You have achieved things on infrastructure, you've achieved things on healthcare, you've got free secondary education, and all we are saying is that we want to remain on that trajectory, the trajectory of development. And by the way, development takes so many things to happen. One of them is peace. And one of them is harmony. And one of them is shared values. What we are saying is that because we have achieved so much because of being together and being cohesive, and in the previous years we had a lot of frictions within coalitions. You remember some few years ago. And what we are saying is, once you remove that, then an environment that is conducive for development is likely to be created. Yeah. So I don't think it is campaigning as it were.
But that environment, following the handshake, the political temperatures came down, but now the antagonistic politics are within Jubilee because of this 22 talk.
Well, I don't think so. I think that the handshake was good. I mean, I've been on record supporting the handshake. You know that very well. And before my good friend Governor Kabogo went to handshake with the former Prime Minister, I was the first one after the President to handshake. Because I take it as my responsibility to help our leaders, to achieve a good environment. And I'll continue doing that. And that has got nothing to do with the politics. And 2020 is good. It is unarguable that the handshake has actually brought down political temperatures and has actually created a situation whereby we can actually be able to focus on actual
So in your view, is there a problem between President Kenyatta and his deputy? Is the relationship as was before now?
Well, I think I'll echo what these gentlemen have said.
Which is?
Unless they come out and say there's a problem, there's no problem.
Murkomen has come out, the leader of majority, to say he's a very, very close ally of Mr. Ruto, the deputy president, to say that very close people to the president are the ones sowing these seeds of dissent. So is Mheshimiwa being honest in your view to say that there's no problem?
Of course, Moses will not be honest. And the example that I personally have been waiting for Mheshimiwa Kuria to follow from the president is not the handshake per se, but the expression of remorse for some of the things that were said during the campaign period. I have not heard Moses Kuria apologize to half of the country for being some of the, most divisive voice during that particular election. He has said some very, very crass things. And I wish that he would follow that example. Number two, those of us who observed the so-called camaraderie between William Ruto and President Kenyatta during the first term, we knew that, we could see that they were trying too hard. I mean, it was not something that was genuine. So that even when people say that it has gone away, I mean, it was never there in the first place. All that showmanship that they try to put up, that they call each other brother, wear same ties and same suits and matching shirts, all that was a bit forced for some close observers like ourselves. And we knew that President Kenyatta was essentially a hostage of William Ruto. Because what William Ruto does, and does very well, is take hostages. It is always a relationship that is backed by a certain threat that is unsaid. And we knew, even in 2013, I was speaking to some of my friends just recently, and I remember, and I wish gambling was as rampant as it is today, back in 2012, because I would have placed money in this happening exactly the way that it is happening immediately after this particular election, when the president is no longer hostage to the threat of losing a vote in Rift Valley or certain things happening to his people who live in the Rift. So, I mean, right now, there is nothing to hold against Uhuru. He should be able to do the things that he wants to do. Okay. We have sat here for the past 5 years saying that, for instance, in the war against corruption, what was lacking was political will. I have sat in this same chair and said that if Uhuru wanted to fight corruption, he would.
Yeah.
So we are seeing at least steps. Previously, you remember, during the scandal for the health ministry, names associated with him, I think it was his sister or something, when it came up, we didn't see the same language that we are seeing now. He's saying if his brother Mohoho is guilty of any wrongdoing, he should face the law. That is the goodwill that Kenyans were waiting for in the fight against corruption.
I think it's also important to mention that the president has spoken. I think it was last week. He came out and said, as president, I am saying I have 4 years, God willing, and I want us to work. So really, we cannot ask anything else of the president. He wants to work.
Yeah. Who do you think, when his close allies of the deputy president say people around the president are the ones,
only
misguiding?
people like Murkomen can comment because he knows what he's talking about. But these are the people who are throwing, bullets at Jubilee itself. They want to make Jubilee an issue. The handshake brought problems, let's be honest. Number one, it brought political coolness in the country.
Yeah.
And we started thinking that now the country can move forward. But also, it removed subject. It removed talk. There are people who cannot say anything else unless they're insulting Raila Odinga. And these guys have nothing else to say anymore. So they have to find a new subject. So the subject now is 2022. Because you speak this, things will happen. You know that politics of Kenya is about money.
Yeah.
So when people are busy making noise, money must change hands somewhere.
So do you agree?
So really, my take is simple. Let us support the president to make Kenya a better place.
Would you say Ruto is sabotaging? Would you say Ruto is sabotaging the president?
I wouldn't say that directly, but I would say there are people who seem to want to sabotage the president. Because when the president says something and he's the leader of the party, then you have busybodies down there, lawmakers, making noise and sabotaging what the president is saying. Really, kama ingekuwa siku ya KANU.
Lifestyle audit, is it one that is aimed to tarnish the deputy president, as many who support the DP have said?
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't think that lifestyle audit ought to be seen to be targeting a particular person.
So why do you think these people say this? Because then it feels like it's almost a concession of guilt, that if you come, you will actually find something, because people should not worry. And this is Jubilee saying these things about a Jubilee pronouncement by the president.
No, I think matters to do with corruption, Sophie, and matters to do with any other thing, including politics, including development, needs to be separated completely. That's my personal stand. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I cannot speak for myself.
But you're also a Jubilee member. So what do you say of those who are saying this? What end are they seeking to achieve?
Well, I don't think that people talking about corruption cannot be a party issue. Yeah? Corruption cannot be Jubilee or NASA affair.
But when they say the DP being targeted, what do you think they're seeking to achieve?
As a matter of fact, before Moses answers that question itself, when they state that it is the DP who is being targeted, what are they telling Kenya? What are they telling Kenya when they say it is the DP who is being targeted? Are they saying the DP is corrupt?
Sophia,
are they saying the DP has got money he cannot account for? What is it they are telling Kenyans?
We must take a break.
So really, the people to be asked this question is not the other, but those who are complaining.
Okay.
But have you asked them?
We have asked them that question.
What did they say out of it?
They said that he's been targeted. Murkomen has come out to very clearly say...
Here's something that Moses does not want to say.
Yes.
I have said that if you have made corruption your lifestyle, when the war on corruption is going to be fought, when it begins, it will be about you, because you made corruption your thing. This is a gentleman. In the past 4 years, every single corruption allegation, his name never misses in those matters.
Allegation.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So it is no wonder, because this is his thing. So when the war against this thing begins, then it will be about you.
We must take a break here on Checkpoint. Stay with us. We still have more to discuss when we return after these few messages. Yes,